might have come from somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to another edition of The Local Show here on GrassRoots Community Network. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. I'm Erik Skarvan, your host, and thank you, our YouTube and Facebook audience, for joining us each week where we feature inspirational locals here out of Aspen, Colorado. So excited, so honored, and I think just already heartwarmed to welcome back a friend and a guest. She's been on the show once, and I was just so struck by her story this last summer. I want to welcome back the founder and CEO of Haiti Children. It's Susie Krabacjer and her dog Strogue. That's S-T-R-O-G-E.
Like Stroganoff, Strogue.
Short for Stroganoff. Strogue's in the house. And we're just going to say, Strogue me. Couldn't resist, but he's such a little cutie. And I got my dog Luna under the desk right now. She's chill. I think she's just starting into a nap.
Is that funny?
You know, these older girls, they need like a nap
do.
sometimes. You know.
Sometimes
And I can relate at my age, too.
You should be happy that I didn't bring his little stuffed animal, because he's learning to do things that we don't want to see on television with his stuff.
It's getting a little edgy.
Yes.
So welcome to both of you, and thanks so much for being here. And you were recently in Haiti, and we have so much to talk about. But I wanted to start at just something really light. And, you know, we live in Aspen, and we're midwinter now, just about midwinter. And what are a couple fun things like you've had enjoyed in Aspen? I know you've been kind of traveling, but just some fun maybe activities you've enjoyed, like winter activities?
I finally found a pair of cross-country ski boots yesterday.
Oh, good.
I've been looking since December, and
Whoa.
I couldn't find. They're sold out.
Because equipment
everywhere.
is so hard to find with COVID.
Well, exactly.
It's
I
going
went
crazy.
to the golf course, and the very sweet lady there said, "Susie, we've been sold out since December." And I'm like, "Please tell me you can find, just please. I know you have to have one pair somewhere." She's like, "Aren't you the girl that works in Haiti?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, "Can you please help me?"
Get the inside line, hopefully.
She found, thank the Lord, a pair, and that's what I'm going to be doing to, stress release. I love to cross-country ski and snowshoe and hike with my 5 little ones. My dogs are kind of my world here.
But you let me in on a secret. You have 23 dogs in total?
I actually have
So between
28 in total.
28 in total.
We have 5 here, and then 23 in Haiti.
Oh my gosh.
And Erik, if I told you the story of how we got those dogs, it's a long story.
There are many, many stories to tell. Because you're involved with these kids in Haiti, animal rescue, all this kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, it started with just child rescue, but I believe children should have a dog.
Yeah.
And with 119 children, 23 dogs is really not that much.
Right. Well, if you put it that way.
Yes. Yes.
That's only like one dog for every 5 or 6
Yeah,
kids.
so it's reasonable.
That's totally reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're still under 30 dogs total.
Exactly. And we actually have our own vet. So they're
that
cared
helps.
for.
Yeah. And you've got a lot of other animals too, which we'll touch on. But before we take our first break, I want to just, capsulize your story, because we did tell a pretty good background story when we had you on the show in the summer. But you've got a really fascinating background. Could you just kind of briefly tell people kind of some of the highlights and
Sure.
Landing in Aspen, being a part of that?
Yeah, well, I started, my heart for children came from the fact, I think, that I was a foster child.
Yeah.
And I was severely abused, and it was very difficult to find placement for me, and adoption just wasn't, I didn't get adopted. So at 15, I'd been in 3 foster homes, and most of them were great. But in my heart, I just knew that it was a hard way to survive. And my brother did not get placed in foster care and ended up killing himself. So I promised God that if you help me survive, because there were often times that I didn't want to, but if you help me survive, I will I promise I'll dedicate my life to helping kids. I promise you I'll do that. And, you know, my road went all over the place without a lot of adult supervision. I ended up in a lot of different situations. I worked for Playboy for about 10 years. Came to Aspen in 1986 and met my husband here, who was actually my divorce attorney. So he came into my life, and we just didn't have, it wasn't our goal to have a family, but I went to Haiti one year after really thinking, you know, you forgot your promise to God. What are you doing with your life?
Right.
You're going to lunch every day, going to the gym, you spend more time on your nails and hair than you probably have ever spent in prayer. And I think that you need to honor that promise. So I went to Haiti, and it was like something clicked.
Yeah.
I did not have a high school education, but I knew. I don't know if anybody watching has ever had this Holy Spirit epiphany moment where you're not afraid of anything. You know you can do it.
Wow.
And you're like, this is for me.
Yeah.
This was only for me, for nobody else. And I have no fear
Wow.
about this mission.
It's your God-given purpose.
Totally.
And you feel that in your heart.
Totally.
And then once you have that kind of that recognition and you're feeling so purposeful, it's like the road's out in front of you, right?
Right.
And you know where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like, and there are a lot of obstacles, and we'll talk about that in the main body of the show, but you have that vision now.
Yeah.
You have that avenue.
And it wasn't learned, it was something that just came into my heart and said,
Wow.
if you don't have the question, and back then we really didn't have, you couldn't just go online and research, but I knew if I made friends with people who I admired, who were doing huge things, then some of it would rub off on me.
Yeah.
And, maybe I could learn by watching. It was probably the first time in my whole life that I actually took advice and listened more than ever.
Boy, it's so powerful, So something just, that switch, the light switch turned on, and you recognize that mission. And Susie, we're going to take a quick break, rehydrate a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe Strogue needs a little sip of water too. Luna, how about you? She's already napping. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Our only one of the show. I want to thank our winter underwriters for making shows like this possible. Klug Properties and Chris Klug, White River Overland and Scott Vold, Pickens County Landfill and Kathy Hall, and Sundog Athletics and me, and my former dog, Sundog. We'll go to a quick break, guys. We'll be right back. We've got Susie Krabacjer, founder and CEO of Haiti Children. Get up to speed on the latest news and how you can get involved, so don't go away.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland specializes in camper van upfitting and overland outfitting. Catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts, many of WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. Nestled in the White River National Forest, close to the deserts of western Colorado and Utah, WRO also rents camper vans and accessories. More at whiteriveroverland.com. Sundog Athletics Aspen's Adventure Sports School is your opportunity to experience one-of-a-kind guided adventures and gain new skills to experience the thrills of snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, mountain and road biking, fitness hiking, and Aspen's exclusive fat biking and canoeing adventures. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for more, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
We're back here on the local show with Susie and Strogue in the house. He's got a little personality, doesn't he?
Yes, he has a lazy eye too.
Oh, okay.
Because he was a rescue dog.
All
When I
right.
got him, he was underdeveloped.
Oh my gosh. Of course. There's got to be something. I mean, it can't be like a healthy dog that's like, woof, woof, let's go. It's got to be a project.
I bought an incubator and I raised him in an incubator, and he got addicted to oxygen,
Oh my God.
and therefore the lazy eye.
We got to go out and have a drink sometime because, I mean, it was sitting here. I could just listen to your stories all day long. There's so many of them. But we've got a really good one here with Haiti Children and your orphanage. Now almost 200 kids. Do you have a total?
We
Or
have
100?
119 that are actually
Okay.
Krabacjers. You know that they're all they are our children.
Oh, you've officially adopted them.
Well, we're their legal guardian.
Okay.
And we have 750 students.
Okay.
And then we have
Wow.
about 8,000 people every month that we give medical care to.
Wow, that's
either
huge.
medical care or they're in our feeding program. So we're working in a very, very, I mean, when people think of Haiti, they think it's poor, but there are areas that are destitute, and
Yeah.
that's where we work. We work in some of the toughest slums that there are in the world. And we just finished our third well in an area that has absolutely no water. So with the water programs, the feeding programs, our widows programs, there's a lot of elderly people in the area who might be 100 years old and can't walk to get their water. So we have programs for them.
Okay.
So yeah, about 8,000 people a month.
That's amazing. This just kind of came to mind as we're sitting here in Aspen, one of the wealthiest places on the planet. And then you go down to Haiti, which is known, like you said, to be, pretty destitute and poor and impoverished. And then they get these hurricanes and everything else going on.
Yeah.
I guess kind of like thoughts on, kind of like going from like this riches to rags,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
And then you go back and forth, like you're traveling back and forth.
I'm back and forth
through the
every
year.
6.
Like, what's that like? I guess.
I figured out how to do it for me, how to make it work for me, and a lot of my friends don't really understand my mood swings.
Yeah, right.
Well, this is why.
Exactly.
I go to Haiti, and I never know when is this the last time I'm going to see you? Because a lot of our kids are terminally ill, and it's also a very dangerous place. So I don't take for granted anymore that seriously this might be the last time we see each other. And like night before last, one of my kids sent me a video on WhatsApp of shooting in the area. And he's like, "Mom, I'm afraid." And I'm like, "Just don't go out, stay put."
Yeah.
And then there's the process of making all the phone calls to the directors. Do you know there's shooting in this area? Please, have everybody stay in, and tomorrow morning leave for work at 4 a.m. to get there at 8 a.m. because you want to avoid the shooting. We kind of know, from experience when there's going to be less shooting. So it's, in the beginning, I feel like I had post-traumatic stress at times because there's nothing like seeing a child die in front of you. There's nothing like seeing a person shot in front of you. Unless you've been to war, it's kind of hard to imagine.
Yeah.
But it happens, and we've lost hundreds of little kids over the last 27 years, and it's like we were talking before. It's because I chose to work with very sick kids.
Yeah.
And you cannot save them all. But every time one of them passes, I also have to not think about just myself, but their brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
We just lost one of my children, Jean-Michel, 2 weeks ago, and I flew to Haiti for the funeral. And the kids, you know, I'm trying to explain to them, you know, Jean-Michel was sick. He was very, very sick. And we knew when he was a baby that he was probably not going to live as long as us. And that's okay, because his purpose now is finished here on earth. And we got the privilege and honor to be his family. But they're little kids, and they get afraid
Yeah.
of ghosts.
Yeah.
And they don't want to sleep in the room where his bed is. And we have a child psychologist simply to deal with these issues, because we do lose children. We've got one little boy now who he has AIDS, and he's very, very healthy right now, but we know that there might come a time that he succumbs to that.
Yeah.
And then we have children with heart, degenerative heart issues. We have children, right now I have one in the hospital who was born with partial intestines. And, you know, I never know. I think that we've saved them, and then I'll get a call at 4 a.m. And when the phone rings during, you know, the weekend or early mornings, I wake up Joe and I'm like, this can't be good.
Yeah, what's this? Yeah.
So,
exactly.
and then I'm on a plane because the kids need support. The child psychologist has really been a blessing to us, because the kids, first of all, were abandoned and thrown away. Not one of the kids that we have was given to us in a nice circumstance. Every single one was found in a box or in a tin or thrown away at the edge of the river.
Wow.
You know, so they've got issues already.
Yeah.
And it sometimes can take, it's like, you know, your dog is a rescue dog. These kids are rescue kids.
Yeah.
And we shower them with love. We have so many supporters out there who have been a lifeline. And with COVID, we've learned new ways to make our donors feel that they're very close to the children, that they have relationships with the children. It's kind of like, you know, we're doing this live. Well, now we have internet at the orphanage. We can do Zoom meetings. I can actually watch the kids when they're in school.
Nice.
And I can see the employees, and you know, it's
so
a
that
family.
virtual interaction you can do
It's
online.
been amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
the
huge.
kids are seeing I don't know why we didn't think of it before, but before I could take people to Haiti. Now we
Yeah.
kind of have to go where our supporters are so that they don't forget about us.
Right, right. Well, COVID spurred on so many different things, and maybe some improvements, some more connectivity,
Yeah.
interaction.
It was a blessing in that way,
Yeah.
because we decided we're not going to let our donors forget us.
Right.
You know, these are lives here, and
Yeah.
you know, we can't be forgotten. We need you people.
Well, there's you interact with these kids in so many different ways, like a mom. You know, you're basically their mom. And
Yeah.
the only thing I can compare it to is when my mom was a den mother. You know, when we were Cub Scouts, she had like 12 boys. That's not quite like having, you know, hundreds or thousands of you know, individuals. But we've got a great video, thanks to
Yes.
you guys, that shows some of the interaction you have with the kids.
That's years and years of, it's
through
a
the years?
compilation of from the earthquake
Okay.
in 2010.
Right, earthquakes. I forgot about that too. They
Yeah.
got all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Let's toss to the video, and we'll come back in just a minute. It is so amazing the interaction that you have with these kids, and we also have some great images we're going to bring up. And what's like your favorite, like, if you could like sit down with a group, and I don't know how this kind of works because there's so many kids there, but like when you're doing like activities, what are some of your favorite activities you like to do with the kids?
The kids love to tease me relentlessly, especially the teenagers, and you know the thing is this, it's like they love sitting in a circle and asking me about, you know, you guys, like what my friends, what do I like to do for fun?
Oh, like a question and answer.
It's exactly like that. But then in return, I get to ask them anything I want to ask. So like
it's only fair.
There's a lot of that part they hate.
You don't get to ask us questions.
What mom doesn't know will not hurt her. And on this last trip, so I understand a lot of Creole, but I never told them that I do because I didn't want them to know. So they think
which is their native language.
That's their language.
Okay,
that's their language. So on this last trip, I'm sitting there eating, and I'm listening to their conversation. They're like, well, you ask her, you ask her. No, you ask her, no, you ask her. I'm like, you know, listening, and they're like, well, if she says no, then you just need to ask Daddy, because then Daddy will say yes.
Oh,
he always
Mr.
says
Soft
yes.
Touch, huh?
Yes. So for that reason, my husband ended up, when you turn 14 at the orphanage, you can have a cell phone.
Okay.
Because cell phones are cheap in Haiti, and they're in a dangerous place. So I want to know where they are, so I can
for safety purposes alone.
GPS track them,
Yeah.
and you know, because I don't keep them sequestered all the time behind the walls in the safety of the armed guards in the orphanage. They have to go out and have, you know, a life.
Okay.
So this way I can keep track of them. They don't know that, but they all get, once they start, when they turn 14, they get a cell phone. I said no. And they called Dad, and he said yes. So
working the angles, I'll tell you.
Totally.
Now, what happens when they turn 18?
Well, when they turn 14 and they get the responsibility of having a cell phone, they also get the responsibility of having chores. So each child has a list of chores that they do every day, and they get an allowance.
I like
it's
it.
not a very big allowance compared to what we would give to a child here, but it's substantial in Haiti.
Yeah.
And they don't actually get to keep that allowance. It goes into their bank account.
Okay.
And
nice.
in Haiti, they can't touch their bank account until they're 18.
Okay.
So when our children age out and they turn 18, they get their bank book, and they get, it's about three years worth of rent that they have in their pocket.
What a great head
and
start.
if they want to go to university, we have an incredible family who gives scholarships to them. So they get to go to university if they wish. If not, then they've been trained very well in vocations. By the time they leave us,
Right.
they're almost all great public speakers. They're just, I mean, they speak in church. They speak in front of 500 people on the mountaintops when we have our seminars.
Wow.
You know, they read and speak. Almost all of the kids speak at least 3 languages and can play at least 1 instrument.
That's incredible. So you really equip these kids
Yep.
in pretty much every front.
Yep.
You know, you guys are raising livestock, you're educating them, you're giving them, like, basically the tools for life, right?
And the ones that want, you know, I really encourage diplomacy with the kids, because I told them, if I die and don't have one of you become president, then I will just as soon go to hell, because you've ruined my life.
You gotta put that on them, right? A little pressure. No pressure, you guys.
So I've taken groups of them to Washington to speak to senators and congressmen and walk the halls of Congress and learn the respect of how debates happen. So they're prepared.
So Susie, we're already out. I can't believe it, but
no.
we're out of time. But I do have parting gifts. That's the good
You
news.
do.
So, but how can people get involved?
HaitiChildren.org is the
Okay.
website,
Okay.
and I love taking people to Haiti. I know that it's a difficult time now to go, but we can always connect you to children and our activities via, online internet.
Sounds great. Did you have fun on the show today?
You know, it just isn't long enough.
I know. We'll have to work towards a 1 hour special next time. And Strogue looks like he's pretty relaxed.
Aww.
I hope you guys had fun this week on the local show. Thanks for joining us, guys.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland specializes in camper van upfitting and overland outfitting. Catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts, many of WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. Nestled in the White River National Forest, close to the deserts of western Colorado and Utah, WRO also rents camper vans and accessories. More at whiteriveroverland.com. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's Adventure Sports School, is your opportunity to experience one-of-a-kind guided adventures and gain new skills to experience the thrills of snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, mountain and road biking, fitness hiking, and Aspen's exclusive fat biking and canoeing adventures. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for more, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Welcome to